So today I'm going to be doing some smoked, grilled, sticky, Asian baby back ribs. So we start with our ribs, and here I have a nice rack of baby back ribs. So I'm sure you could do these with St. Louis ribs. The recipe calls for the baby back ribs, and I think that's the better choice because we're going to be cutting them up individually later and grilling them on the grill. And I think the baby back ribs are nice and thick, so it's going to work great on the grill. Now this is a recipe I found on ThermalWorks website. They've had a ton of great recipes on there. I highly suggest going and checking them out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and prep these ribs. So this is going to be normal prep to any style rack of ribs because we are going to be cooking these whole. It has the membrane on. We will remove that, but first I just want to trim the ends. Now I want to get it as close to the bone as possible and leave as much meat on there as I can. Now moving on to the other side. So again, get as close to the bone as you can. And go ahead and cut that right off there. Now you want to save this. You could throw this out on your smoker for a little snack, or you can go ahead debone this and use it for some sausage or whatever you ground your pork up for. Let's work on that membrane now. So it's pretty simple. You can get yourself a butter knife. I'm sure everyone knows how to pull a membrane off and has their own method. I like to just work a little section in the middle and get my finger under there till I can get all the way through the membrane. Then I'll just grab it and hold the ribs with my other hand and then just pull it right up. Simple as that. So these are all set. Let's go ahead and make our rub so we can get these seasoned. Starting off with about 4 tablespoons of paprika, then a tablespoon some Chinese 5-spice powder. I got this off of Amazon. I'll put a link down below if you need some. A tablespoon of ground ginger, teaspoon of ground mustard, 2 teaspoons kosher salt, a teaspoon and a half ground black pepper, a teaspoon and a half of allspice, and then just a half a teaspoon of some crushed red pepper. And that is it. Just get this all mixed up. And there is our delicious seasoning. This stuff smells really good, guys. If you could just smell it, man. So let's go ahead and get our ribs seasoned. We're gonna start on the bone side first. You want a generous coating. Those edges, man, this stuff smells great. Get them flipped over. We'll season this top side. I love the seasoning combination for this recipe. This is going to be awesome. Now we're gonna add a braising liquid and then a barbecue sauce as well. So we're just stacking layers of flavor with these ribs. Check those things out. Beautifully seasoned baby back ribs. These are all set. Let's go ahead and get these out and onto the smoker. All right, we are out at the Z Grills pellet smoker. Recipe says 250 degrees, so that's what I got it set at. I'm using these Bear Mountain Hickory Oak Blend pellets. I found Bear Mountain produces some very quality pellets. Let's go ahead and get our ribs right down on our grate just like that. Nothing to it. Get it closed up and let these smoke. All right, the ribs are on, and the recipe says to let them go for 2 hours. They're not looking for a temperature or anything. They just say go for 2 hours, then pull them off and get them into a braising liquid. So I'm gonna start making this braising liquid about a half an hour before the ribs are ready to pull off. But you don't have to wait, so let's jump ahead and we'll start making it right now. All right, so you're gonna need a foil pan for this. This pan might be a little small. Might have to modify it to get those ribs to fit. So we start off with a cup of hoisin sauce. All right, now a half a cup of soy sauce, half a cup of orange juice, half a cup of brown sugar, quarter cup of rice wine vinegar, quarter cup of some white grape juice or apple juice. So here's some scallion whites, some chopped up ginger, and 3 cloves of crushed garlic. All right, so the last thing is a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So I don't have cayenne, so I'm using this ground jalapeno. And that is it. Now we can go ahead and just mix this all up. So check that out. I wish you guys could smell this. It is freaking amazing. But let's get this out to the smoker because it's been about 2 hours so we can get our ribs in here and let them keep cooking. Let's check these ribs. Oh yeah, these are looking beautiful. Just check those out. Beautiful bark on there from that rub. Bones are starting to pull away nicely there. These are going to be some delicious ribs. Let's move these to the side. Get our braising liquid in. Now, like I said, I think we're going to have an issue with these fitting. And you want to go meat side down here. So yeah, a little big. I'm just going to kind of stretch this pan out a little bit. Get it to sit down in that liquid. Just get a spoon. Put some of this braise all over the top of these ribs, just like that. And go ahead and just rock them a little bit, make sure they're completely covered in that braise. So now I'm gonna stick this probe in here, try and get it into the thick part in the middle here. So just get some foil, cover that up nice and tight, and that is it. Now we can close this. Now in the instructions, they tell you to turn the smoker up to 325, and you can see the internal there. We're at 176 on these ribs. They say leave it at 325 and let it go till the ribs hit 203 degrees. They say about 2 to 3 hours. I have a feeling it might be a little quicker, but I'll see you back out here when we hit 203. So these ribs have been in that braising liquid for 1 hour. Now, like I said, I didn't really expect these to take 2 to 3 hours to get to 200 degrees, considering we cranked this smoker up to 325 and they are in some braising liquid. So it's been an hour and these are at the 203 the recipe said. Let's take a look at these. Oh yeah. And they smell absolutely fantastic. So let's get a temp check with my instant read. You can see right there, 204. Over here, 203. So these are ready. So let's get these off, bring them inside, and get them ready for the next step of the cook. And these things look fantastic, but they smell even better. So I'm just gonna let these chill out for a little bit on the cutting board. And in the meantime, we're gonna make our sticky Asian barbecue sauce. Get yourself a pot over medium-high heat. Go ahead and dump all of our braising liquid into there. Now to that, we're gonna add some red pepper jelly. This is what's gonna really make it sticky. And it calls for 10 ounces of pepper jelly. It's a 13-ounce jar, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. It should be about 10 ounces right there. And then a half a cup of apple cider vinegar. And that is it. Just give this a mix. And then bring this up to a simmer. So once we get this up to a simmer, we're just gonna wanna let this reduce by a third and it will be done. So while this cooks, let's go ahead and get our grill ready. So for these ribs, I'm going to be using this kettle charcoal grill. Now you could definitely turn up the heat on the pellet smoker to as high as can go, grill them on there, but nothing beats some delicious charcoal grilled meat. So I got a bunch of charcoal in here. I want to cook these things hot and fast, so I'm going to go ahead and start these fire starters up. Now I'm just going to let this charcoal light up, get nice and hot, and we'll be ready to grill those ribs. Speaking of the ribs, let's get back inside, check that sauce, and see if it's ready. That sauce is almost done, so while it's finishing up, I'm going to go ahead and just slice these ribs. We're going to be grilling these as individual ribs. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. It's going to make it easier to cut. You can see where the bones are. Of course, the last one's giving me issues. There we go. These look good. Check that out. Nice juicy rib here. And these would probably be fantastic as they are. But once we dip these things in the sauce, get them grilled, they're gonna be even better. Yeah, just check out the juiciness on that. Nice little smoke ring too. These are gonna be good. So the sauce should be ready. Let's grab these ribs, the sauce, head out to the grill, and finish these up. All right, grill's ready to go. Nice and hot. Got our sauce there. So you can see the sauce is reduced down pretty good. So now I'm gonna take these ribs, a few at a time, into that sauce. Get it coated all over, and then on the grill. Ooh, That's what you want to hear. All right, this is the final batch. All right, so these are probably gonna cook pretty quick. So just keep an eye on them. Coming along pretty good. You gotta remember all that sugar in there. Don't want this to burn. That looks pretty good. Check that out. That's what you want. Get that flipped over. Oh yeah. These are looking very nice. See, it burns quick. Gotta be careful. This grill is starting to get hotter by the second. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little bit more of this sauce over these ribs. Oh yeah. I think these are done. Just want to give these a little more char. So we'll get those in the middle because it's super hot. But these are done. Check that out. Beautiful crisp on there. So I'm gonna get these off. Check that out. Ooh, yeah, those are gonna be good. Here are the ribs. They look fantastic. I'm super pumped with how these came out. They got a beautiful char on them on top of that smoke flavor. But before I'm ready to give these a try, I need to do a little bit of garnish. So the recipe says to go ahead with some sesame seeds, some green onion, then some sliced up serrano peppers. Now they do say these are optional, but highly recommended, so I have to give them a try. So there we go. These might be one of the fanciest looking things I've ever made. Before I go ahead and ruin this and give them a try, I gotta take some pictures. And we're back. I'm dying to try these, so I am not gonna wait any longer. Just want to get a nice one with some good char on it. Check that out. Is that not a beautiful looking rib or what? Let's see how this thing tastes. Serrano is a little bit spicy, but these are some of the best ribs I've had. These are absolutely amazing. It's got that traditional texture of a smoked rib. Super tender. The Asian flavors in here are absolutely fantastic, but it's that char that really makes this rib stand out. Man, these are good. Gives it a nice crunch, and that char flavor is absolutely delicious. I highly recommend giving these a try, and you can see how tender they are. Just fall right off the bone there. So I'll put the recipe down below if you're interested in checking it out, but I would highly suggest giving these a try, guys. I'm telling you, it is worth all the effort. Now I'm also gonna put links for everything I use in my video down there as well, so be sure to check that out. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe right over here. And if you wanna see another one of my barbecue videos, you can check this one out over here. But most importantly, get out there and smoke something good. For real, guys, give these a try. They are so good.